conservative won the ball here on third down.
Here's Richardson. He takes it in for his first NFL touchdown. And Pittman takes it inside the 20, the 10, towards the end zone. Touchdown on 2nd and 28. The Colts capitalize. Richardson to Pittman, 39 yards.
Good evening, everybody. It is the crew, and we are back every Saturday. Lately, it feels like it's been every other Saturday. Everybody's been having stuff going on, but forgive us. It's the off season. We're doing things that aren't football related. So
life
is happening. So we got Trev and Marco and myself tonight. How's everybody doing?
We're here, man. A little under the weather, but look forward to talking some football. Even though we're finally getting into the dredges of the off season, where everything kind of slows down and gets boring a little bit.
Yeah, I'm doing good myself. Just celebrated my son's having a little party today, and then gonna celebrate his birthday party next weekend. So having a good weekend so far, man.
Yeah, man. My house has been going through the sickness too. So it started with me like last week, and then the kids got it, and then the baby's got it now. So the baby's miserable. So if I just end up hopping off, it's because I'm keeping her awake.
It's everywhere right now. It's all that pollen coming back for springtime. It's gotta go.
Yeah, man. Yep. Down here, it's been like 80. I think it was like 80 today. It was pretty warm out. So weather's starting to change. And then I'm going to end up going up to Washington where the weather's going to go back down to cold. So it's going to fucking suck.
Just get sick all over again.
All over again, bro. All over again. And Washington, man, Washington's cold as shit in April. And it's raining all the time. So it's like,
just
great.
Asking for it.
Yeah. So like we said, man, there's not much to talk about, but we do have our season in review part 2. We're missing Damon, and Zach was here for part 1, so Zach assisted with the offense. Just a quick review of that. We did not give the offense total grade. Hopefully we'll get to that, but we did have quarterbacks were graded at a C+. Running back room was graded at an A. Tight ends were graded as a D. Wide receivers were graded at a C. Offensive line was graded as an A. Keynotes on those was I believe it was QB and tight end both had some incompletes, mainly because of some injuries that were related in the tight end room, and then we had injuries that were in the quarterback room, clearly with AR being out. So AR got an incomplete. But with Minshew, we don't think he, in my opinion, didn't really elevate the offense. He just did enough to where the offense just kind of was able to move the ball. So now we're on to defense. We did start with corners during the part 1 before we decided to just hold off on defense. And we did end up grading the corners at a C+ with some incompletes. So that actually takes us to safeties. I don't know if you guys want to jump back into it or if DeMarco's got some notes he wants to put out first. I don't like that your thing is 2024 is our year because now you look like a Cowboys fan.
It's true for us, though. It's true.
Yeah. Like Trev said, it's true for us, for one. Secondly, I definitely don't do this every year. If it wasn't our year, I'd definitely tell you we were going to be trash. So I'm definitely not Cowboyish, so we can cut that one immediately. But I didn't know if you want to start back over. I was just talking to Trevor about that, just so we can get a fresh start on what we're going to have for D-line or cornerbacks, wherever we start.
I mean, we can start over. I mean, with me, you, and Zach, we had this that we only did the corners, and we had a C+, so we could redo it. I'm keeping my C grade. But if anyone who's watching didn't see why that we graded there, I think that the corners did exceptionally well for the positions that they were put into, with being young, being rookies, and not necessarily being expected to play as many snaps as they did. So a lot of fans are like, oh, I want to, they didn't play well, this, that, and the other, that's one of the most, pressing needs. I also think that they played fairly well for being young and late round picks to be completely honest. One of our
Yeah.
bright lights defensively was Jalen Jones, and I'm pretty sure he was like a last day
6th
pick.
round, 7th round, yeah.
Yeah, so
He was a late pick. I think hovering around a C is fair. I mean, we started the season off, losing Isaiah Rodgers because of the whole gambling thing. Just a lot of question marks across the field. Julius Brents hadn't even played because he was injured, so did not start good. If you would have asked me by week 4 what my quarter grade was, it's like D-, maybe an F. Not good at all. But as the season went on and as we got those rookies back playing with Jones and Brents being the primary two, taking those steps, I think they really elevated their play, progressed as the season went. I think to me their best game was when we beat the Raiders, and they were put in a lot of man coverage positions, and they played lights out more often than not in that. So I think when you put them in the position to show what they got, they did really well. So I like what you said about like they weren't always put in a position to succeed, and that's why we kind of got on them more a little bit, but that's not exactly them either. So I think all things considered, I give about a C plus.
Did I gave a grade, right, Matt, on the DBs?
yeah, I think you graded him a C too. Hold on, I want to touch base on some of these comments before we move forward. Hold on, there's two of us controlling. So Nathan here says, I don't see us getting Pittman back. He wants his money. He deserves it. Honestly, I think a lot of this is just going to be speculation at this point. I don't understand. Nobody knows what's happening with Pittman because of the fact that he's an unrestricted free agent. I think that there's already conversations, but he said he wants to, explore his options. So he's going to wait until March. We're not going to be able to get something done until now. Not sure if we're going to tag him. It just depends on what the value is at that point, and if Chris really values Michael Pittman Jr. or if Chris thinks he can get somebody better to replace Michael Pittman Jr. And then Michael here says, trade the number 15 pick and Pittman Jr. for moving up to get Marvin Harrison. I say no to that. And I understand everybody loves Marvin Harrison Jr., but I'm not a guy who's like, let's go trade house and get a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So, and then Nathan says Colts never tag players. And I think there's a time for everything. It just depends on who. We've never really had a player worth tagging.
Because didn't we use it on McAfee once?
Yeah, but I mean,
that was the last person we tagged in
like the last
2012 or something like that. 13.
But then tell me after that who we've had that was really where Ballard was like, oh, I don't have his replacement already, and Ballard felt the need to use the tag. I mean, he just doesn't. There was no need to tag anybody at that point because he either signed you because you earned it, or in certain situations like Anthony Walker, who got replaced by Okereke, and then we let Okereke go because he got replaced by Zaire Franklin. I mean, the replacements were already there. So really there was no need to franchise tag anybody. In this position, I believe that Michael Pittman Jr. is a guy you tag if you cannot get the deal done right now.
I agree.
Because we don't have somebody to replace him at this point in time, and I don't think a draft pick in the first round is going to replace Michael Pittman Jr. No one.
Yeah, I'm also going hard no on the Marvin Harrison Jr. You're going to have to give up so much capital, you probably won't be able to function after you make that trade. It's just not going to make that much sense.
It's not worth it.
Also, to Nathan's point, actually, the fact that this has been going around a lot and we haven't franchise tag Pittman, I know Zach was asking some questions earlier. I just want to say this. If we don't franchise tag Michael Pittman Jr., we let him walk like some other guys that we doing, I'm telling you right now, Chris Ballard's job is on the line.
Facts.
It is absolutely that'd be in because I'd end up losing confidence at this point that you just can't build a team to be able to consistently compete and actually get over the top and be able to keep your guys and keep building and adding to a team. So I just want to put that to rest, man. We're either going to tag Michael Pittman Jr. or get a deal done, or
Ballard's gone.
Has to change.
Ballard's gone. Yeah.
And I think the key to it is like you got to spend money. You got to spend money either way. Like we're either spending money on our guy Pittman, who's shown that he deserves the money, has proven he belongs here, all the above, or you let him walk and then you have to spend the money anyways to go get a replacement and try to find someone who can fit as good as Pittman does. So it makes zero sense to me to even entertain the idea of letting him go, letting him walk out. I want a deal done as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason we would end up having the franchise tag Pittman is because Pittman wants more money than what Ballard offers.
Yeah.
And I don't think Ballard's going to necessarily lowball Michael Pittman, but I think Michael Pittman's going to want to explore his options. And then Ballard, all he's going to want to do is either match or outbid.
Right.
But I don't even think it's going to get to that, to be completely honest. We've seen Michael Pittman talk about AR and having AR back next season. And the way this offense is going to be moving forward, I don't know where people are getting the idea that Michael Pittman Jr. is gone. Like, he's gone. It's done deal that he's leaving. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I think right now he's just being a good businessman, right? Like, if he just goes, I'll take whatever the Colts give me, that's not good business. So, yeah, of course he needs to say he's going to entertain options. And you hear everyone, and he should hear the options out, and then he should consider offers, because then it's on Ballard. Ballard's the GM. It's his job to, as you said, match those offers or outbid them and keep him in the city. So it's just business at the point.
Yeah, that's silly to me. And then Nathan says he wished we could trade Gus Bradley. And then this is Gus Bradley's make or break year. If he can't fix the defense, he deserves to lose his job. I actually disagree with this 100%. And here's the reason I disagree with this. Gus Bradley was put in a position last year where he was playing rookie secondary. And not only was he playing rookie secondary, but these guys were dudes that are like late round picks, like we said earlier. Now, what my belief is that we need to get guys that fit Gus Bradley's defense, because everybody's like, oh, you need the blitz, you need the blitz, you need the blitz. But at the same time, blitzing heavily doesn't always fix the problem. We can't just be like, oh, we need the blitz, we need to send more because we're not getting pressure up front. Instead, how about we get elite edge rushers who can actually provide pressure in a defense that Gus Bradley plays, where he just wants to send 4. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with just wanting to send 4 as long as you have the 4 that can get there.
Right.
So instead of putting all blame on Gus, hey, why don't we go ahead and get guys? I'm sorry, everybody here wants to talk about it, right? The 5th-year option with Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye didn't earn it, in my opinion. Kwity Paye did not earn $14 million 5th-year option. In my opinion, he's not an elite edge rusher that's going to be a game changer. We have an interior defensive line that's stud. Ebukam, to me, is a good edge rusher, but he's not a prime elite guy who will fear as an offense. We need one of those guys. It's crazy to me to sit here.
We also had a crap ton of injuries and lost like 3 cornerbacks before the season even started. So
yeah, I said that before you. When you weren't there, that was the start of this. It's like your corners weren't going to be able to hold coverage long enough, and when they did, what happened? We got sacks, which we broke a sack record.
Yeah, as a team, we did get a lot of sacks.
We got a lot of sacks,
and still we're only 22nd in pressures.
Yeah, so at the same time, it's really just Gus getting the personnel that he needs. I think he did. When you really go back and look at it, Gus did not do a bad job.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of situations, like there are so many games, I mean, since Gus has been here, where it feels like the defense plays pretty solid, and then something will happen, like they'll break a big play or something in a crucial moment, and then it's like, Gus, what the fuck? But like sometimes I don't know, man. I go back and forth on it. I've been frustrated with Gus Bradley too, but then on the other side of things, it's like a play or two different, and we're saying this guy's a genius here. And I mean, that's the same for any coordinator, but I don't know. I can kind of get behind a make or break year this year for him, though. I mean, if we go out and have a dog shit defense, then yeah, he's got to go. But hopefully we can, like Matt was saying, get the personnel that Gus needs back there to run his defense efficiently.
I think it's still going to come down. Can he be a consistent closer? Like, I mean, I don't know about like necessarily just give him another shot. He just can't be complacent with being a guy that's just in a rotation. Like that's what it was. That's why his 5th-year option dropped from 14 mil to 13 mil.
You talking about
he didn't hit his snap threshold to get the $1 million. So it's like you're not even effective enough to where you're not rotating. Like you should be the type of guy where they're not taking you off the field. As Michael Kaysen is saying here, hope I pronounced that correctly. We need a TJ Watt type player or Max Crosby, a closer. You need a guy that's going to consistently make the offense change what they're doing to defend you. And I think that'd be huge for us. Hi. Probably can't hear me.
You know this cool fan.
So that's the type of player that we need to make that change. And then And then what I was going to say, that'd be a type of player like I really like Chop Robinson. I know he's not necessarily going to be the run defender, but I think his first step in getting off on the edge is going to set us up to be that type of closer.
Say hi. So wait.
So I think we need to make that difference there. I think we'll see where we're going from there. But I just think you need to add that type of closer and then hopefully get healthy on the back end. This is from our co-host Zach here. He's saying, in his opinion, the only thing Gus defense is missing is a clear center field safety. Once he's given that, or that guy, I think Indy defense is elite. I'll say I kind of disagree with that. I don't think center field safety is the problem. I still think it's going to be young, inexperienced corners, inconsistent edge rush, consistently pressuring the quarterback. So
I'm not against it though. I'll take an elite safety. I mean, we need to figure out something back there. We need to bring back Blackman, in my opinion, but we still need that second guy to pair with him. I don't think Rodney Thomas is that guy, and I'm not convinced yet that Nick Cross is that guy either. So
I think you start with the pass rush and it'll fix that.
Yes,
absolutely, both.
If we can get
what up, Joey?
pressure, if we can get pressure on the quarterback and our corners don't have to cover that long, it fixes the problem, in my opinion.
What's the matter?
She disagrees.
Yeah, she
She
disagrees.
says we need a lockdown safety is what we need.
She said no.
Shout out to you getting your jersey, man. I got on Kenny Moore in honor of the defense today. That's what I'm rocking with. Nathan also saying here, I hope we get Howard, veteran corner from Miami, to teach these young corners. I'm definitely not opposed to that. I'd love to see X with our defense. It's gonna be a tough one though. He's gonna have a large crowd, and I would hope with his age, he's not just looking for somebody to overpay at this point.
Right.
He should be looking for the correct fit, the chance to really win. But if he's gonna have a crowd where somebody's going to want to overpay. So we'll see how that goes, man. But I'm definitely not opposed to adding him to this team.
Yeah, I mean, what we've seen is like Ballard isn't typically the guy to go out and pursue these guys like this, veterans that get released, usually for salary reasons, not because of talent reasons, because obviously he's still a very good corner. We'd love to have him, but it doesn't feel like a Ballard signing like DeMarco's saying. But I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to be surprised. I would definitely take that guy in Indianapolis.
Most definitely. That's where I would go with that. But it looks like we were all at C on the cornerbacks. Where are we headed to with safety?
All right, so I'll start off with safety. I actually have us at a fairly high grade safety. I think they played fairly well, considering. Same situation with corners, right? So when I looked at some of these and I was watching some of the tape and things like that, I was trying to look at how impactful the inexperience at the outside was affecting what the safeties were capable of doing on tape, things like that. So I actually gave them a B, mainly because they were doing a lot of sideline to sideline covering for some of these young guys, especially when Baker was in there. Our safeties were over covering. Plus, Julian Blackman alone for me gets an A+++++. That dude was having a hell of a year before he got hurt. And Rodney Thomas played pretty well. The only one that I was not happy with was Nick Cross.
See, I'm the other way, man, because Nick Cross was hit or miss for me. I'm not huge on him, regardless, as I just said. Rodney Thomas, I was loud about him coming into the season. I really thought he was going to be a breakout player. And I think for the most part, he was average. You know, he did what he was supposed to do for the most part. But then when he failed and when he messed up, it was really obvious. And that's when you'd see those blown coverages and those big plays. And like almost every time, it felt like it was Rodney Thomas misreading something or just being out of place. So and that wasn't all the time, but it's like when those plays happened, it was because he messed it up. So that's where it brings it down for me. I got safety overall. I'll say like C-, but if I could grade them individually, I would have Julian Blackman A, Nick Cross C-, Rodney Thomas D+, C-. Those guys, I'm not sure about it anymore.
Yeah, I also agree with Trev here. I'm going C minus, and it's mostly because Julian Blackman. Also thought that Nick Cross was also graded pretty highly when he did play on his limited snaps by PFF. He also played pretty well a lot of times when he did come in there on special teams and on defense as well. I like Trev said, I was high on Rodney Thomas. I was high on these guys being the combo, Rodney Thomas and Nick Cross. And as you guys saw, Nick Cross barely made it to the field throughout the season. Rodney Thomas did not look anything the way I thought he would. It was just too many mistakes, too many miscommunications. Just didn't look like what I thought we would see from him. Julian Blackman ended up stepping up. He's absolutely the only reason I gave this a C minus. I was really going to go close to a D to an F just because of the expectations and the results that I thought I would see from this safety room. I thought this would – I think if we go back to our view when we did our safety room, I thought this was probably one of our most locked down rooms on the team
I thought so too.
outside of defensive tackle. So I give them a C minus. I just thought we missed out on a lot of I would say what our expectations were for that room.
Okay.
Comment here from Tyler. What was that, man?
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say he says he really wants to get Kool-Aid from Alabama. He doesn't know. We'll see. I'm not as high on Kool-Aid as I am on Terrion Arnold. I prefer Terrion Arnold. I think he's the better corner, preferably.
I take either one. But yeah, I mean, Kool-Aid's a solid player, man. If he falls to us, I wouldn't be upset.
All right, Zach here says, why I say Indy needs an elite safety is because Thomas was a liability in the middle of the field. Blackman is way too injury prone to be continued to be counted on all season.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
But
Blackman got hurt like the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he hasn't missed a ton of games outside of, he came off the Achilles. He had the one other year where he played, I think, only 8 games, and then this season down the stretch. So I hate the health thing. I don't think health is something that you can factor in because you never know how a guy is going to be. Like, for example, look at Paris Campbell. He never had an injury. He gets to the NFL and all he does is get hurt. I mean, we had Bob the Hitman Sanders. I mean, he just got one Defensive Player of the Year.
One of the greatest safeties ever.
One of the greatest ever, and his career was ended by injury. Shaq Leonard, for Christ's sake, injuries just kill you. I don't think that's the reason you say you want somebody is because of injuries, because you could draft a guy and they could be the most talented kid ever, and they come in and they start having injuries, then guess what? You back in the same spot. So I don't think that's something that you can really project out. Now, when you say like
we drafted Julian while he was injured.
Exactly.
And he wasn't supposed to come back until November of his rookie year. He played in week 2.
Exactly.
He started week 2.
And the safety before him, Malik Hooker, was injury prone as well. So, I mean,
I miss Malik Hooker. That man was a dog.
I do. I did not want us to cut him either. I was mad
that man was a dog. I have his salute to service jersey, man. God, I love Malik Hooker. And he's playing well in freaking Dallas too.
Yeah. He's got a beast up there.
Yeah, you just hurt my feelings. I'm
never forget his one-hand pick against Uncle Phil, man. It was insane, bro. So Dallas, I do agree with you about Rodney Thomas being a liability. It's just one of those situations where you got too many young guys back there, and you have the play where him and Kenny Moore are kind of discussing what's going to happen against the Rams. And then Rodney Thomas doesn't take Puka, and boom, he takes the play to the middle of the field where it pretty much was game over. And so,
but to be fair, Puka did that to everyone.
I mean, he's a freak. I mean, you also see like the miscommunication and like.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna let a guy make a play, let him head top you, let him moss you or something. Don't let it be wide 10, 15 yards open.
I'm just saying every receiver that went off on us went off on everyone. It wasn't like we were just letting these scrub dudes have massive games. No, I'm saying. I think the only game that's questionable that we let have a big game was against New Orleans when old boy went off and shouldn't have. It shouldn't have even
Rashid
been him. It should have been like fucking Chris
Rashid Shaheed.
Olave that went off, but it was some other dude that wears 22 as a wide receiver, and it's fucking retarded.
Rashid Shaheed, dude made
Yeah.
a goddamn Pro Bowl just for that game.
Just one
alone.
game. That's what I'm saying. That was the only game where we let a no-name dude just go off. Every other game were big-name receivers that we talked about it on Saturday before the game. This guy's going to go off. We can still win as long as they can't run the ball.
'Cause that was the trend all year.
Yeah, it was every game. So to me, to be fair, I mean, whatever. But at the same time, it's hard to evaluate a safety like that, right? Because sure, Thomas, is getting burned, but at the same time, we corners in there that mix communication and things.
It's
That's
all gonna gel together.
it all comes together when it comes to those DBs. That it's hard for me to put all blame on Rodney Thomas
fair.
when you have corners that are also getting burnt and getting beat and not communicating properly. And that's not also their fault either, because they're in a position where they weren't even supposed to play 30, 40 snaps or percent of the snaps throughout the year. They were only supposed to be backups and rotational guys learning and developing. They ended up playing 88% plus, so I can understand the hesitation on Rodney Thomas. I can understand hesitation on pretty much anybody, but at the same time, that room was so many question marks across the board all goddamn season. And we could actually see, because of this season being so bad, on how much tape that these guys can be watching of themselves, we could probably see a massive jump in that room going into next season.
Now, what I will say about Rodney Thomas, just because I was a little harsh on him, when he's in the right position and when he doesn't have these mental errors, his ability to make a play on the ball, damn near elite. And for that reason, I want to keep him around. I just don't want him as the solidified starter. You know what I mean? Like I do want to bring in another safety, maybe that he can learn from and get coached up by a veteran like that. But yeah, I'm not saying get rid of Rodney Thomas. I just think he had a lot of mental errors this year.
I kind of think that's where Zach's whole point is getting to, because he's huge on I want to say it's Tyler Nubin from Minnesota. He's big on that guy, the safety. So
Zach
that's kind of where he's going here.
Zach just likes to cut people when they have bad seasons and don't let people develop. That's how Zach is.
They got 1 year. They got 1 year to make it right.
Yeah, listen,
by year two, if they're not elite,
if y'all are new watching, go back and watch some old episodes. You'll see how Zach is. Zach doesn't like to pay anybody. He don't like to pay people. All right, he just likes to draft everyone and replace people when they have bad years. But then he's ready to, I don't know. I love Zach.
It's kind of up and down. It's kind of up and down.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get it. And just like our guy Chad here says, welcome back, Chad. I don't know where you've been at. You've been going for a while. But yeah, to be fair, I mean, somebody's got to take the blame. That's part of where I'm putting it. And so
to be fair, it's Isaiah Rodgers. Isaiah Rodgers takes the blame.
Everything, yeah.
Everything falls on.
All on him.
Listen, that whole DB room fell apart the moment that man got caught betting. All right, and dude, you guys, even I said it in the group chat. I said, God, we're gonna have a long year now. It's like Isaiah Rodgers was our number one corner, and then we lost him, and then Darrell Baker was getting burned, and then you had
Tony Brown.
Dallas Flowers was playing well, and then he got hurt. And then, boy, at that point, we all knew it was going to be a long season for that secondary. It all started with Isaiah Rodgers, and I blame him.
Yeah, Zach, it's not all about production, man. A lot of times that's why you being vets in, because vets can communicate and other players are more productive, so you may not see it from a vet. So it's not all about production. You have to see what goes on. The game has nuance to it. Everything is not just about production stats.
Look across the NFL, man. Half the corners that are considered elite don't even get targeted. So
they have 0 interceptions.
Yeah, half the corners that are like considered top elite Pro Bowl players are guys that are like, I don't know, like I remember back in the day. God, I forget who the corner was. Darrelle Revis. Nobody threw to Darrelle Revis' side. They
probably had. I think he had a span. I think he had a span of like 2 or 3 years where he probably had like 3 or 4 interceptions, but literally had like 50 targets or something like that over like an 8-week span of games.
Yeah, like it, and so really when it comes to DBs, it's hard to look at production because stats are going to come off of being targeted, how you defend during that target, and things like that. So if you come into a game, I think there was one game where everybody was like, Aaron Rodgers isn't going to go that way. Because I think it was against Richard Sherman or somebody. I forget who the corner was at the time. It was like 10 years ago. And he went that way all game and regretted it. Like
Okay.
production when it comes to the defensive backs is kind of hard because
It can be misleading.
yes,
Like the guy in Dallas, Trayvon Diggs, he's got great.
he can
like-
pick the ball, but he sucks
Yeah,
at
he can make a
coverage.
play on the ball, but then he lets up so much in coverage.
Yeah,
So
he sucks at coverage. He let
Well,
up
that was
1,000 yards
that was his rookie season. His second season, he changed. 'cause
yeah,
he was-
I'm saying back to
he
that.
was
though.
playing. He was playing
his-
in phase. It was
his-
the way that they were playing him, and then you put him in year 2 where he doesn't give him up nearly as amount of yards. So a lot of that goes to scheme. So what it always goes back to is film. Watch the film. See what players are doing pre-snap, post-snap. That'll tell you everything. Production is just a result of what you see. So you always got to go back and look at it, man. I think that's where it always stems from. We got Tyler saying here that from what I've seen from Dallas Flowers, he was pretty solid. The game we played against the Rams, our defense stood strong, and then he got hurt towards Achilles' sad day. Yeah, I mean it was a lot changed for us after that because I think we immediately went to Darrell Baker Jr., got cooked, and then
Tony
we were
Brown
kind of hoping.
got cooked.
No. Then Juju came. Then he went back out after he got hurt. And then after that, it was kind of just makeshift pretty much.
Signing dudes off the side of the road.
So, yeah.
Hey, you want to cover Devontae Adams next week? Let's go.
Yeah. So, Tyler also saying, let's hope Chris Ballard doesn't go coupon shopping this year and bring in talent. If we don't go get players, Ballard needs to be gone. Seat will be hot. Yeah, absolutely. I was just saying that about it's going to start with Michael Pittman Jr. We're going to see how that goes down. If Michael Pittman Jr. is not either tagged or re-signed, if we let him walk, I just have to start questioning Ballard's intentions to really truly win and be a year in and year out contender. Just has to be something we go forward and we make sure we keep guys in the building and we add guys to the building.
And I think what's special about this year, like we're typically one of the top 10 or so teams in cap space. Like we typically are very much in the green in cap space. It's just how Ballard operates. But so every year people say, let's go be aggressive in free agency. But this year more than ever, the timing of it makes sense, right? Like we have a quarterback on a rookie contract coming back healthy, who's able to compete. We have a star running back long-term who can go, right? Like we have pieces to compete. So this summer, it makes sense to go and add weapons, add firepower to really go and try to contend over the next 2-3 years before you have to, pay Anthony Richardson. And that's going to be a lot of money if he pans out the way we expect him to. So then, the window of your franchise changes a little bit, how you have to operate. But like right now, with a quarterback on a rookie contract is the time you can go and sign free agents for the next couple years and really try to be competitive. So hopefully Ballard does that.
For sure. Exactly. So he's got to put it to it. And he can't be slow about it. Brandon Archer here is also saying that or asking, is Pittman getting tagged? Has not been tagged yet, but I was just having this conversation with our other co-host Zach the other day. I said that me personally, I would have tagged Pittman 2 days ago. I would have already made it known to him what he means to this team. We want to keep you. The only reason I'm tagging you right now is just to ensure that you're not going to go talk to anybody else outside this building. I want to make sure we get a deal done. You let me know the number. We'll work out what we can, and we'll get you signed. Now, I also think personally at the end of the day, if you don't tag a player, it could also be a sign of respect. I mean, we obviously don't know what their day-to-day communications are. Chris Ballard and his agent could be talking over and seeing about getting a deal done, so they could still be in the works of getting talking. As we have Tyler here stating, they have till March 5th to tag him. Yes, that's absolutely correct. So they still have time to try and work it out. But at the end of the day, when March 5th comes, if there's no deal, he needs to be tagged. If we let him walk out the door, I think at that moment in time, I think Ballard to be pretty much riding his way out of the building. So,
and I like what you said too about like just the respective players, like the way the media covered the whole JT and Ballard thing, and with Irsay involved in that as well. Early this year, when all that was going on, it sounded like they were drawing guns at each other and just ready to explode. And then the next thing you know, JT's got a long-term contract. Couldn't be happier to be a Colt. Like, everything's all good. So clearly a lot of bullshit was made out of that. I don't know. I think Ballard's not a dumbass, right? Like, he knows his guys. He's always valued high character business. So I think that's exactly what it is. I think you hit the nail on the head, man. He's probably letting him explore these options because he respects him, but he's gonna do whatever it takes to keep him as a Colt.
I also agree, but this does kind of worry me though. Like, if you think back, because like when Chris Ballard came out his presser and said, you know, we have the advantage of being on a rookie deal with the quarterback, right? You know, we're not making that search. But I mean, I'm not gonna say it's like a panic or like we have to jump on it and whatnot. Like, we have till March 5th. But it's like it's still the same kind of slow process that he takes with like free agency or with other people or anything that just goes on. I just really hope that when he said, like, you know, we're not sitting on that rookie or sitting here looking for a quarterback anymore, we have the rookie deal. I just want to see, like, I know this is where Zach would typically come in and say he wants to see everybody get signed and whatnot and go get everybody. But I want to see a little bit of urgency. I want to see more. Like, I don't want it to be the same as it's been in the past. I'm not saying you got to go sign people day one and whatnot, but like, I just want to see it be a little bit different with Ballard this time if we truly are going to see some difference.
I don't want to see Mike Evans.
I'm good. Yeah,
I'm good on that front. My thing is I agree. I think I want Ballard to be a little bit more when it comes urgency wise, and I think that's where fans get frustrated with him. And I do agree that, like, this is the year that we don't have a quarterback, but this is also the year where if you look across the board at free agents, the top free agents that are, you know, going to go. Or might even walk away from their team, which to me would be asinine for some of these guys, because some of these guys are, you know, top players on their roster currently, and they're about to be undrafted free agents or are, you know, unrestricted free agents. I feel like a lot of those guys that Colts fans want are going to be re-signed, to be fair. So, and then a lot of the other guys that are underneath them that are top list are going to want to go to contenders.
Exactly.
If you're not a Colts fan, we are not a contender. Like, to be 100% fair, like, our rookie quarterback is essentially about to go into his rookie season plus, you know, a second time. It's like being held back because of the fact that he missed the majority of his season, right? So at the same time, it's like, who as a wide receiver is going to want to come to an offense where it's still unknown? Sure, to us, we're like, we don't have to go get a quarterback.
That's exactly what I mean by I want to see that urgency from Ballard to like let people know, like, hey, we're willing to spend the money if you want to come here to help us build this contender.
Right. That's what we need. But at the same time, it's hard to get that in the NFL these days. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these NFL these players, all they see are the Chiefs, the 49ers, the Dolphins, the Bills. You know, they see the Jets with Aaron Rodgers coming back. You know, they see all this and they're like, well, I can go there and probably get paid more money and work with guys that are a little more solidified, things like that. And that's what Chris Ballard has to compete with.
Right.
But at the same time, Chris Ballard is not bad in free agency at all. He's brought people here every offseason that have been productive for us. He's brought them in on 1-year deals. For example, Yannick Ngakoue came in on a 1-year deal, got us what, 9 sacks? 9 sacks on the edge, walked, got replaced by Ebukam. I didn't even hear of that dude. I didn't even know who
he was a dog.
And he was a dog all year.
Yeah.
I was calling him Samson. I just got his last name right for the first time. Like, I'm just saying, like, these dudes, everybody's got to lay off of what Ballard does. I think he's going to come into it with more urgency, but at the same time, I feel like Colts fans need to stop panicking.
Yeah.
They panic over the big names, and it's like we don't need those. We need guys like Ebukam that come in and fit perfectly.
Why bring a Michael Pittman Jr.? Why re-sign Michael Pittman Jr. and then go get a Mike Evans? Mike Evans is Michael Pittman Jr. 10 years from now. They're the same player. They're the same. Yeah, they're the same player, but he's older. Why get an older Michael Pittman Jr.?
Yeah, and both of you guys just stated it perfectly, and that's exactly what I mean. Like, I don't want to make the panic come up, because it's just some of those guys that we get on day 2 or day 3 that most people don't sit there and notice, like a Ebelcom. And that's what I mean by the urgency. I just want to see a little bit more of it as far as like being active on day 1, maybe getting somebody that first day. It doesn't have to be necessarily a big name, but it could just be somebody like I've seen a ton of people that wanted Kendall Fuller. There's a lot of people that wanted him.
I just want to hear that Ballard reached out and made an offer on day 1. That's it. Even if the guy didn't accept it, just make the offer.
Exactly. Give
somebody the offer. That shows me that he's trying. And I'm like, okay, now he knows, like, he's really confident in what we have here. He just pursued somebody day 1. Man, we ain't seen it in week 1 of free agency since he's been here. So
yeah, exactly. But to Brendan's point, buying a farm don't really mean anything. Aaron Rodgers had a house in Tennessee, and
Paris Campbell's family still lives in Indianapolis.
Yeah, so that just means nothing. Yeah, Zach is saying the same here. Ballard needs to be aggressive. I know Zach is a little bit more aggressive than most of us, but
Zach only wants to save $3 million.
Pretty much. Yeah, Michael, we're not getting Jalen Waddle. No. He's not even a free agent until like 2025 or 6 or something like that.
I'm okay. To be fair, if everybody wants to be realistic, we're not going to get a wide receiver in free agency. It's not going to happen. Okay?
I wouldn't say that. I think Paris Campbell is still in our boats.
Okay, I'm talking about a top tier. I'm talking about a top tier wide receiver. We're not going to get a guy who's going to come in here like they want a guy that's going to come in here and make a day 1 impact. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, right? we're not getting Brandon Ayuk.
No, that's not going to happen. All right, and that's fine with me. Why? Because I feel like at that point we can go somewhere and get a Brian Burns, or we can go get somebody who's on defense that's going to help, so everybody can stop trying to fire Gus Bradley. We can give him the personnel he needs, and we can go ahead and get a wide receiver in the draft. Yeah. And I'm okay with that.
That's perfectly fine if we do build one side by each segment here. So if we build one side free agency off defense and draft on offense, whatever we want to do.
Hell, I'm okay. I'm okay with going defense free agency at first, like get a Brian Burns, maybe a defensive tackle for depth wise.
Bro, this is my ultimate dream.
And then hit the draft round 1 wide receiver. I don't want a tight end round 1 ever. And then round 2, hell, maybe go tight end, or maybe go safety or corner, in the second round. Somewhere
player available,
boom. Yeah. And then after that, best player available.
If the only way we go tight end is if we build up on defense, I'm gonna cry if we take a tight end if we don't have like so many changes on defense.
I agree.
I'm not Nathan here saying what y'all think of Mike Evans. I think he's a future Hall of Famer. That's
great player. Yeah.
Nothing else.
Can you go down to this Tyler comment here? I keep seeing Bowers to Indy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and go to this because I got into a debate with somebody the other day. Somebody, for some reason, Colts fans as a whole, y'all make 0 sense to me, right? And I made 0 sense in this debate at the same time, right? I mean, I made sense, but I didn't. Okay, I'll get to it, right? So y'all think we need a tight end because everybody wants to say our offense favors tight ends since we drafted Anthony Richardson, which is 100% false, actually, because wide receivers were targeted triple the amount of times with AR on the field than tight ends were. And then everybody wants to say, well, tight ends made the bigger plays, which was actually false because the bigger plays actually came from Michael Pittman Jr. and Downs. So Granson had one big play under Anthony Richardson. All the other tight ends had big plays with and then Mo Alley Cox had one, but he almost dropped it, so that doesn't count.
So Matt, real quick, let me change the statement you're arguing against real quick, just because I get what you're getting at, and we don't really need a tight end. But the thing that people want Bowers for is they say he's pretty much Marvin Harrison Jr. at tight end. They're saying that the talent is so great that you can't pass.
That's not what I'm arguing. That's not what I'm arguing. Okay. I'm arguing the idea that the majority, because what I've seen is that Colts fans think that every offense in the league now, because of Travis Kelce and George Kittle and old boy up in Detroit, everyone believes that offenses need to have an elite tight end and he needs to be the focal point, which is actually false. It doesn't work that way. George Kittle's not a focal point in the 49ers offense. Neither was Laparte, however you say his name, Laporta. He's not a focal point of that offense. He's successful because they have old boy St. Brown on the outside who's just killing it. He's double teamed. Laporta's got the middle of the field. Just saying, let's be real. Now, the other issue is the fact that everybody thinks that our offense focused on tight ends, and it does not ever. It actually focused on Michael Pittman Jr. in the passing game, which is why Michael Pittman Jr. averaged over 8 targets per game, which was double.
Damn it. Messed it up.
What are you doing?
I was trying to get the solo shot.
Yeah, you just here.
Damn it. There you go. There you go.
Oh, I don't like this. This is weird. All right,
Nah,
so
it-
you get. All right, so everyone's saying that our tight ends focal point, whatever. Now I lost my train of thought. Well, our offense does not. Our focal point is not tight end. It's not going to be tight end. You have a guy like Jonathan Taylor, running back. You got Anthony Richardson, quarterback. The focal point will never be tight end. So Bowers just doesn't make sense. But here's the thing. Now everybody wants to say, well, our biggest plays came from tight ends in big moments. So why replace them? Make it make sense. Y'all are sitting here saying, well, we need to get Bowers because our offense, our focal point is tight end. They make the biggest plays. Okay. So if Granson made the biggest plays, Mo Alley Cox made the biggest plays, Will Mallory made the biggest plays, why are we trying to replace him when we could go ahead and improve at a different position that makes more sense and makes a day one impact?
Yeah, just from an argument standpoint, that's a logical fallacy. That's contradicting their own point. But I think the point's also bullshit. I don't see. I watched every game this year, and I don't think the tight ends made the best plays through all the games.
They didn't.
I don't see that at all. So that's a interesting view for me.
They didn't. Will Mallory had one like extreme catch against the Texans, and that was with Minshew throwing the ball.
Dude, between like the 4 or 5 tight ends, yeah, all the great plays they made, Pittman by himself had like 3 times as many. Like their total collection of great plays is like a small part of Pittman's highlight reel of the year. Like,
and Nathan, our defense does not have linebackers playing edge. We're in a 4-3, not a 3-4.
Now, I will.
I thought he was joking, but I thought Dakota was pretty funny. He said we need to trade for Peyton Manning. But yeah, no, the Marvin Harrison Jr. It's not there. We're not doing that. We know Ballard barely traded up. Like Dave says here, we can live with our solid.
We still have Jelani Woods.
Exactly. We still have Jelani Woods. I know Shane Steichen has a lot of faith in the guy.
Me too. That dude's a
dog.
dog.
Sitting here saying, "I'd rather have
Allegedly.
a Bosa type rusher than an elite tight end." Absolutely. If Dallas 100%. Turner lands to us, if Latu,
it's like Laete Latu or something.
Yeah, something like that. UCLA rusher, him, Jared Verse, one of those guys, all for it. But real quick, just wanted to jump back into our grades real quick before we get too lost into some of the comments. We'll jump back in there, Tyler, in a minute. Yeah, let's go to linebackers. If it's cool with you guys, I'll start us off there. Matt, if you want to give me the solo. I got our linebackers, man.
You sure you want to be solo? Because Zaire might block you.
No, Zaire don't block. It's EJ, so I got to be careful.
Oh
with
yeah,
EJ.
Yeah.
But no, I think our linebackers, I'm gonna give them an A-. And personally, the only thing I have against them is their coverage. That's it. That's all I need these guys to improve upon, because I think both of them had some pretty good pass breakups. I don't want to say we were really good, but I think we're about average. But close to pretty good about being on third down. They both had some quick pass breakups, but Zaire Franklin's an absolute animal. Old school type linebacker, physical, going to be in your face, going to talk to you all game and let you know where he's at. I think he's just a traditional linebacker that we've missed for a while. He'll stick you. He's going to make you feel his presence out there. And then EJ gives us that speed. He's stopping those screens. He's out there making plays as well. So I think both of them are very solid linebackers. I think they gave us exactly what we needed. It's just tough for us to go from the Shaq turnover type linebacker where he's creating those plays every play back to traditional type linebackers. So all these guys got to do is just get a little bit better in coverage, create a couple more turnovers a year. And I think we are exactly where we need to be with linebackers. So I'm giving them an A-, and also appreciating their backup. So want to shout out to Segun, my guy with his crazy hair,
Stewart.
Yeah, Grant Stewart.
His-
Guy's crazy on special teams. He filled for us as well. I know I'm missing one other linebacker. I apologize for missing your name right now. But yeah, so I'm gonna go A- out linebacker. I thought we were very solid there all year.
Yeah, you said it all. I'm not even gonna go into it. I got them on an A too. The only question I always had was turnovers and coverage, and that was it for me, really, to be honest. But other than that, I think them and defensive tackles were our most impactful positions on defense, actually on both sides of the ball, to be completely honest. So
Yeah, 100%. A-. You guys said it all. Turnovers and coverage should improve, but I mean, those guys are dogs. I have zero worries moving forward with the linebacker unit we have.
yeah. All right, defensive tackles. I've got nothing negative to say about defensive tackles besides depth.
Yeah,
That's all I gotta say.
I want to go on. Well, Trev, I don't know if you want to go on defensive tackle at all.
Well, yeah, I'll even on depth, I felt like old boy Taven Bryan played all right. The only issue is Grover Stewart is so elite at stopping the run that his absence was so noticeable. But I mean, just because we're talking about depth, Taven Bryan, and then there was another guy, Jacob Martin, like that, not anywhere near his level, but they still made plays throughout the snaps that they got where it's like, hey, this guy's not so bad, right? So that's all I can ask from the depth guy. So I go A+++ with our.
Yeah, I just felt like it was completely obvious when you knew that like our starters weren't out in the run game specifically. You know,
Suddenly
but
there's
in
all-
my opinion, I'm okay with that. I think everybody played pretty well. And when Gus made some changes on where these depth guys played, instead of having, I think it was, what was his name? Tavon Martin? Was that
Taven Bryan?
Taven Bryan? Yeah, they had him at
Taven
nose
Bryan.
at first, and he didn't play very well at nose, and then they moved him to the 3 tech, and he played a lot better there. So
Played well.
Yeah, and Nada Tamayadabara, he stepped up pretty good too.
That's
sometimes.
I forgot about him. Actually, yeah, he did.
I was gonna say, yeah, the only thing I had against this D tackle room, I'm giving him an A. The only reason it's not an A+ is because Grover got suspended.
Yeah.
If he don't get suspended and miss those 6 games, I think we might have another win or two in there just based off of his presence being in
Agreed.
the lineup alone. So
100%.
give him an
Agreed.
A. I ain't got
All right,
nothing.
let's hit edge. This is really our
Woo!
last grade. Because honestly, I'm not really gonna grade special teams. I'm just gonna offense, defense.
I go special teams A. Just I throw
Yeah,
that out
an
there.
A.
I was gonna say, I want to say coaching staff.
But as far as edge rusher, man, I
this is
look
the
at two
hardest
different
room in my
things.
opinion
Mm-hmm.
because
Looking at
the production was there, but that just showed to me that it could be more.
Agreed. Yeah. And a lot of the times it was there because of the joint effort, right? Because of the D tackles, because of the coverage. And then it was just whoever got to the quarterback first. It wasn't because we had a hurricane on the edge just making a play, right? Or at least more often than not, it wasn't. So, like, overall grade of the edges, I'll say like B-, C+. I'll say B-. I'll say B- because I feel like all of them did really well in the rush game, just stopping the run. As a whole, the defense did good for most of the year stopping the run. So they did well there. Just didn't get near enough pressures. And mainly that's Kwity Paye. And I know we'll talk more about him. Samson Ebukam was a really solid addition. And then help me with the name, 54, Odengbo, Deo Odengbo. He really showed out this year. He showed that he's taken that next step. So I'm looking forward to having him next year and seeing what he can do. But overall, for the unit as edge rushers, I go B-.
I'm the same. I mean, it was there. I just think that the pressure came after the average time of what a quarterback should be able to sit in the pocket, and that's really my only gripe, is because I think the pressure took too long. And I think if we were able to get consistent pressure, then we wouldn't be bashing our secondary as much as we have. But at the same time, if our secondary played better, our edge rushers would have gotten there more. But to be fair, I mean, I'm giving them a B because the production's there, the numbers are there, and a lot of the times the edge, they did a good job concealing the edge. Quarterbacks weren't able to roll out and do their normal stunts. Like, I'm sorry, that Ravens game
Played really well against
played
them.
really well. So to be fair, the edge did their job. The sack numbers just weren't there like we wish they would be.
Yeah. So I totally hear where you guys are coming from. I feel like I'm going to be a little harsher with this grade. I think it has a lot to do with Franey just kind of going into the Hall of Fame and getting that ledger in there and just being able to know what him and Robert Mathis could do for years. But I'm going to go C+ here.
You're not as far off as I expected it. The way you started that, I thought you were going to go like
yeah,
we said
no.
You say
no
C
because you guys helped me lighten up a little bit because of the numbers. The numbers are there.
Yeah.
My problem is like, when we're all sitting there and we're texting each other, or we're watching a Colts game or whatever, we're up about 10 points or something, and we're thinking, oh yeah, we're going blah blah blah. It's 3rd and 18. We're about to get a sack. Boom, first down.
Okay, that was because, hold on. The corners were playing like 22 yards off the ball.
It's both. It's both. We said it all.
I totally get what you're saying, but it's like when you're watching rushers against the Colts, they're always in the quarterback's face, and it's like, okay, are we gonna throw the ball? Damn it, get rid of it. But when we're on defense, we're not saying that. It's like the D-line is still just at the line of scrimmage.
And I should have titled this episode "To Be Fair" because it's coming back again. All right, it's just to be fair. When they're playing us, and you have Gardner Minshew in there, they were blitzing on 3rd down every time. We didn't blitz. We just sent 4 and let our DBs sit back 25 yards.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And there was somebody spoke on it. I want to say it was Zaire Franklin. He spoke on it and said that a lot of times where you planning your defense and whatnot, there'd be times where Gus is telling us to play off because of certain situations, as far as being on the back end. And I totally understand that. But at the end of the day, like when I said before, I'm looking at a pass rusher like a Chop Robinson, who's not necessarily a rushing defender, but his first step off the edge is just elite. It's that type of guy that when you have a quarterback that's going to sit back in the pocket and look at who we're going against, as our comment has up here, Stroud and Lawrence, we need a guy on that 3rd and 12 where CJ's just, dropping back and we're blitzing him, and he throws that first down. We need a guy that's just in that. Where's our Dwight Freeney and our Robert Mathis?
Oh no, we agree.
When you have when we have 51 sacks, or was it 51 or 54? I'm pretty sure it was 51.
It was a lot.
But when we have 50 plus sacks, you would think a lot of those were coming to close out games. I think that's where it's like I want to see that production match the results to get us wins. And so I just feel like a lot of those is like most people would probably call them garbage time numbers where we just put up some of those. I think we had a couple games. I want to say it was like 2 or 3 games where we had 6 sacks.
I actually think that when we actually look at it, it wasn't garbage time. These sacks were coming on 1st and 2nd down. And when we'd get into that position and we got soft. Like I've noticed that in a lot of our games, it was like 1st down sack or a 2nd down sack that put them in that 3rd and 15, 3rd and 16. And then
give it up.
Yeah, they gave it up. And a lot of our sacks came in, the red zone or at the 30 when they were in field goal range. A lot of the times those sacks happened then because it was Buckner making a play on a drive. And I agree 100%. I think that that's why I'm like pushing that we really need an elite edge rusher because those are the guys that are game changers. Like we need a Shaq on the edge, a guy who's when you need a play, that play is coming, and not a Shaq. We need a Darius. We need that play that's going to happen, in a position that,
right.
Change the game, change the momentum, make that play. That's what we missed all year defensively. That's why, like, when people are like, "Oh, why didn't this guy make the playoff or the Pro Bowl, or why didn't this guy make the Pro Bowl?" Where were their plays that put them on national attention?
And see, that's exactly what I mean about like some of those stats. Like I don't even mean to call them garbage time, but like you just said, it's like getting a sack on 1st and 10, right? You go to 2nd and 15, and then if the team converts on that second, and then exactly. Yeah. So it's like an empty calorie stat. Yeah. That like those are the stats that I mean.
It's like drinking an energy drink that says 0 sugar, but then you go and read the ingredients and it says sucralose. That's sugar.
That's sugar. Exactly. Exactly what I mean.
You're doing something, but you did
And that's exactly what I mean about our defense. I feel like it's too many times where we feel like we got something done, and then we don't get off the field on third down. And I just feel
One
like
step forward and 2 steps back, dude.
it's like a lot.
And we
of
did that all year. We did that all year, and I hated it. It was
and that's
But
what
it was-
where
it
our
was-
defense ends.
man.
Just
gotta-
because go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I just disagreed with this comment here because if you go back and look, I want to say it was on Gus Bradley's second half percentages. I think it was fourth quarter and overtime. Gus Bradley had the highest blitz rate in the NFL. So
Gus Blitz
it's
this
not
year.
necessarily that he didn't blitz at all. It's when he blitzed. So his blitz percentage only wasn't high because he didn't do it all game. So a lot of Gus's rough patches in defense had to come from playmaking ability and then injuries. So I'm not trying to give him a pass either because I think the guy is on the hot seat as well. But just wanted to misconstrue or
I think he's unfortunately on the hot seat because someone has to take the blame.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
you
when,
got players
so
don't
when so when people don't perform, the coaches is going to take the blame, right? And I think that's why they went ahead and didn't re-sign certain assistant coaches on defense and replace certain guys, and that's fine. But here's the thing: Gus is going to take the blame 100%. So yeah, he's on the hot seat for that. But at the same time, Gus didn't do a bad job in this season.
Yeah.
I think even if he tells you to play off on those 3rd and 18s, like Zaire said, as a corner and as a safety, you need to know where those sticks are.
yeah.
It's still your job to know where those sticks are. It's not Gus's job on the field. Like, he knows where the sticks are. He's probably standing right next to it. Look for him. You know?
And that's where
I
that
can't wait to see
inexperience
our
comes
deal.
in.
I can't wait to see our new D-line coach go to work. I can't lie.
Yeah.
From the
Dude,
film that I've seen on Pittsburgh, I can't.
So since we're in the conversation, we'll go ahead and move to coaching staff. And Gus Bradley, we'll go ahead. I don't know if you want to just do individual or you just want to do the whole coaching staff as a whole.
I was just gonna do it as a whole.
Yeah, do the whole. I'm good with that.
My bad. Instagram just sends us a message about the stream ended.
Yeah, I see it. If you want to continue streaming on Instagram, you can remove this destination from the stream and re-add it. Wow. Instagram's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I was about to say I gotta do that some other time because I don't know how.
Yeah, don't even worry about it.
Also Dave, that Gus stat was pretty surprising to me to see how it went down because if you actually think about how we beat the Baltimore Ravens, that was actually how we beat them for how much we blitzed in fourth quarter.
54% of that game was blitzed.
Yeah. So and then both of you guys are right here. Timothy is saying I feel most defensive issues were DBs. It's kind of a mixed bag there.
An edge,
but not far off. Yeah. And then we missed a lot of tackles on 3rd and long. So yeah. So
I disagree with that. Hold on 1 second. I disagree with that. It's not that we missed a lot of tackles. It's that we left a lot of room.
Yeah.
2 missed tackles.
Yeah, we left a lot of room because here's the thing: by the time we missed those tackles, the ball was caught past the first down marker. So at that, I'm just saying. But
I thought it was caught behind.
No, man. These dudes were no. If it was 3rd and 18,
They
the dudes
did
were
both.
catching the ball at 3rd and 20 on the sideline.
Yeah, I would have to look back and see, but I just remember a lot of short stuff that we end up giving up to give up first down. But I'd have to look back.
I know those really long 3rd downs where me and Damon were always like, "Oh, here we go, here comes the first down." It's because there was middle of the field, or they were like running to the right past the first down marker and turning around, and for some reason our corners were 7 yards downfield past them, and they were just wide open every time. It just made zero sense to me.
I'd have to look back at that to be 100%.
For me, I'd rather play underneath that guy.
Yeah.
There at that marker, and if you're gonna run past me, I'll just chase you, but I'm not gonna let you sit at that marker and get the first down. That's fucking stupid. That's why I was getting so mad throughout the season. I was like, this makes no sense. Why are they so far off? Like, yeah, play far off. That's fine. When it's 3rd and 18, you play 7 to 12 yards off the ball. That's fine. I get that, but don't go past the marker.
Yeah,
unless he does.
Oh, that's actually the conversation that Zaire was having when Isaiah Rodgers was on. He was talking about how the head coach will overrule that and say, hey, we need to play off of here because of the score, X other reason, and because of whatever, we want to play off a little back, let these guys just have some yardage there. So that was another part of
So,
that conversation.
like I understand playing off when it's 3rd and long, like 3rd and 18 or whatever, because that for some
Yeah.
that one specific play was 3rd and 18, and it's just staying in my
Yeah.
mind. When it's those 3rd
Yeah.
and longs like that, I understand playing off. I just don't understand going past the sticks unless the receiver does.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah,
make sense. Stay at
I
the sticks.
also don't get being on 3rd and 18 and then being 12 yards off. It makes
No,
sense.
you play 7 yards off and then you drop back to the sticks.
Yes. Yeah,
You force
exactly.
them to throw it underneath, and then you attack the ball.
Close. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's simple defense. That
But,
was
yeah.
where I was getting so frustrated defensively. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, so that brings me right to our grade. I'm going to C- on Gus. I personally just don't like our,
I
consistent.
thought we were going as a whole.
Oh, no, I meant like different staff. So I know you didn't want to do like the special teams or whatever.
So
but I was
defense, you're giving
doing
C-.
offense. Yeah, defense separate from offense.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going C- on defense. I know there was a lot of injuries. There's a lot of stuff in there that we could say was a pass for Gus Bradley and his defense as a whole. But I just feel like in the world that the NFL lives in, nobody really gets a pass. You either win or you don't. You put up numbers or you don't. You put up stats or you don't. So
You develop or you don't.
Exactly. I give them C-, just because I personally think that the cover 3 defense that we stuck to a lot of the time was not very favorable. I did like to see some of the adjustments that he made, as we just discussed, with the blitzes being better in the 4th quarter and overtime. I don't know how much of that is personnel, trust issues that he has with players, whatever it may be. It's tough to say. We're not in the locker room. But I just think that as a defensive coordinator, you can see the changes that you make for your players to be in better position. And I think a lot of the time we see the same thing too many times. And I think Mina Kimes from ESPN had a stat on it. I think the Colts showed and had a coverage that they were playing in. I want to say it was like 90% of the time we would show exactly what coverage we were in. And I just think as a defensive coordinator, if you're going to show what you're in every time, if you don't have an elite player at every position, that's a failure. So I just got to go C- there. Like we said before, I think our sack stats there, our D-line showed it, so you can kind of tell where our elite group was, also with linebackers. Just don't think it was enough to raise that grade. So I got C- for Gus.
I agree. I'm right there with you. That's where I was going to head.
I go C+ on Gus. I'm a little more optimistic. And just the sum of all parts that we've talked about on this episode, I feel like we're so close to having an elite defense. I know that's like a Frank Reich type of statement, right? Like we're not that far away. We're so close, this, that, and the other. And the result is what matters. I understand that. But it feels like if we just get a couple more pieces and we just coach these guys up a little bit, which I will say as far as development-wise, right? We talked about the corners were terrible, terrible, terrible. And then as the year progressed, that secondary as a whole did improve. So to me, that is a plus for coaching. Man, I think this is a make or break year for Gus, but I'm hesitant to rock the boat and fire him or make these huge wholesale changes when, like I said, we're this close to having like an elite contending worthy defense. So I just want him to figure it out this year. But I understand if he doesn't, then yeah, it's got to go. But for this year in general, I go C+.
Good. All right, offense. I'm including Shane Steichen in this, because I don't think we should do head coach separate when he calls plays.
No, yeah, it's coaching staff.
Yeah. So, I'm actually going with a C+ on the offensive side of the ball. Now, the reason. Okay, I know this is crazy, right? I think Shane did great when it came to switching from AR to Minshew in game. Like when AR got hurt in game and then Minshew came in, Minshew was able to continue and go off. The adjustments were great at that point. But when you had to game plan to have Minshew as the starter, I think is where Shane struggled all year. And I think a lot of the times a lot of these losses came down to some of the, play calling offensively, especially that Houston game. If we would have won that Houston game, I'd probably be giving Shane and that offense probably a B+. And my main reason is because when you have a guy like Jonathan Taylor who's about to have an historic game and you don't give him the ball the whole game, you just lost us that game. And that happened more often than not. I just think when it came to having Minshew and Shane got limited, it started to show that Shane was struggling. And a lot of people want to praise it because it was Minshew, and we did good things with Minshew. But the offense was way too limited. Instead of like kind of opening up, taking the shots downfield, he didn't start taking shots downfield till later in the season. We were throwing this ball like 5 yards every play, and it just drove me nuts. So I'm going C on the offense.
I feel like it's a little harsh. I'm just thinking back too to like the beginning of the season, like the first 5-6 games, and we were the only team averaging like 30 points per game or whatever it was for extended amount of time. I know that wasn't just offense.
It was scoring 20. It was scoring 20, and that was
scoring 20. But just overall, I mean, thinking the 2022 season, how that offense was, then moving to this offense, it's clear. I mean, it's leaps and bounds greater. But that 22 offense was like maybe the worst ever. Like that's F-. That's as bad as it gets, right? So I absolutely understand where you're coming from. I think again, I'm just a little more optimistic about it. I think we made huge progress with the O-line. Like it's back to where it needs to be. I really like what we did in the run game all year with Moss and JT. I wish we leaned on it more, especially in that Houston game. I think you hit the nail on the head. And I'm excited about where we're going schematically with the RPOs and everything we have. I think Richardson's going to do like Timothy says here. Richardson's going to make Shane look like a wizard. I like that. I think it's 100% correct. He's going to be the perfect fit for this offense. So I'll go B. I'll go B for the offense. But I think moving forward, it's only going to get better. I think. I just
think I wanted to see more out of it. Even with Minshew on there, I think, I wanted to see more out of the receiving room. I didn't want to see like everybody hyped up MPJ because he was the only receiver in the NFL that was getting 8 catches per game. That man should not be getting 8 catches per game.
Right. It's
I mean?
You couldn't hit
Alec Pierce. Like how are you not getting Alec Pierce? How are you not getting Downs? Like right. Downs had a good rookie year. He could have had an elite rookie year if plays were drawn up for him more.
Yeah. And there were absolutely limitations that were put on the offense because of Minshew. And then to that extent, too, because of Shane, because he still ran the offense as if AR was out there or like didn't make enough adjustments to complement Minshew's game better. So I feel what you're saying. I'm excited about moving forward, dude.
There were multiple times where I said we need to get Minshew moving.
Yeah.
Get Minshew moving. And if you notice the games that Minshew played well in, he was moving. And I'm not talking about the stupid dance moves he was doing against New England. I'm talking about when we were using him in the read option. If he and he would take it.
Yeah.
Let him run it. Give him them bootlegs, so that he you get him on the edge, then people had to stop blitzing him.
Right.
And then the shots were downfield.
Right, because he was terrible under pressure. Like if he got blitzed, and that would drive me crazy from a coaching perspective. You see the blitz loaded up, it's coming. You don't call a timeout. The quarterback doesn't call an audible. Nothing changes. We just take the blitz and take the sack, or Minshew gets stressed out and throws it away. Like
every time.
Hey, look, Matt. Timothy agrees with you about Downs being number 2.
Downs is number 2. That's 100% fact. It just depends on where he plays on the field. Like a wide receiver 2 doesn't mean he's going to be on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Like Tyreek Hill was the Chiefs' wide receiver 1 who played in the slot. I think Downs is in the perfect spot. Keep him on the inside because he's a weapon there. He's a mismatch there, but he's wide receiver 2 for sure. He's just not your Z. He's your Y, and that's okay.
Pittman looked good at the Z.
Yeah,
when he played there. He was. That's when he had his big play versus the Browns. The screen, the big play screen he had.
Should have been a game
winner. Yeah. The only person who needs to be on the outside is Alec Pierce.
And then
I'm okay.
Uncork it and give it to him.
I'm okay with playing bunch formations all game long. I'm okay with it.
Downs would eat up in a bunch. He'd eat up in a bunch.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I will say too, just real quick, just going back to offense because you mentioned Downs. I love how much we put him in motion and just like the things that we would do pre-snap that we never saw with Reich, just putting guys in motion or moving things around, confusing the defense a little bit. I really like how that's going. And like the split back formations we would use, I like all of that. And
the part that sucked is when when AR went down with injury, we didn't get to see that as much after.
Yeah.
I think one of the greatest play calls Shane had, I can't remember what game it was. We ran a certain play from the 2-yard line that put MPJ in motion, right? We scored a touchdown. I believe it was a run play. We scored a touchdown. Then went for the 2-point conversion, ran the same exact play, the same exact motion, but instead of handing it off, threw it to MPJ.
I think that was the Rams game.
That was, to me, that was elite from Shane. The way he called that was elite.
Yeah, I'm almost positive that was the Rams game. The play that you're talking.
I don't
about.
think Jonathan Taylor runs very well out of the Wildcat. I think
we did run the Wildcat. I want to say we had. I only remember one play out of the Wildcat. I don't think it was a successful touchdown. I think we got a touchdown on the next play. But I think anytime you can mix up your offense and make your formations look different to where teams have to be caught off guard is always something that's good.
I've never necessarily liked the Wildcat, except, and I know this is going to be ridiculous, and I shouldn't be saying this on a Colts page, but I think Tennessee had that shit down pat. Like that Wildcat in Tennessee,
man,
Derrick Henry,
Tennessee, man.
Yeah, he does.
But Derrick Henry out of the Wildcat.
I thought you was gonna say with Ricky Williams and them from the Dolphins, man. Forget Tennessee.
No, but I'm not afraid to admit it. He had that thing. Derrick Henry has that thing down. Like
he starts to run a little jump pass.
Yeah. I mean,
he like shoots it like a basketball almost.
A old boy from Kansas City did it first. Whoever that, who the hell was that? That defensive tackle that did it. Golly, what was his name? Kansas City did it. What was his name? God, man, he's a big name defensive tackle. Like 6 years ago.
You talking about Dontari Poe?
Yes. He did it. And then Derrick Henry stole it. But yeah,
it works.
For me, I'm going on offense. This is an A. I gotta go A here. I just think the ability that Shane Steichen had to be able to go from AR complete freak at quarterback to going down to average at quarterback is just insane to be able to get some capabilities there. Exactly. That's the level of quarterback you were going to. Anytime you see Anthony Richardson go down, and then you see Gardner Minshew running around in the pocket, and it's just that little noise that you have. He's running around, doing all of this and running backwards and everything. I just think that was a lot of. Then you think about where we were at with running backs, where we had DJ fumbling twice on the opening day, pretty much losing us the game. Then we had Zach
that guy
for a while. Then we had the JT situation and him coming back and getting paid, and then us managing through the two running backs. And then also with our receiving core, who we didn't get enough out of. And a lot of what Matt said about some of the receivers, I think a lot of that had to do with Minshew not pushing the ball. Like, for instance, if you think back, there was a specific play where Alec Pierce is coming down the left sideline, and there's a window to throw the ball. And Minshew just doesn't pull the trigger to hit Alec Pierce open. And so I think there was a lot of games and a lot of plays that were like that. And I think that what Shane was able to pull off with Gardner Minshew at quarterback being so limited with arm talent, arm strength, and everything he was able to do. Obviously, Gardner Minshew gives you that veteran leadership and mentality to where he shouldn't have too many games like Jacksonville where he turns it over 3 times, but he actually helps you control the game and win it. I just think that our offense as a whole, from what we looked at just like Trev said before, we were at 2022 or 2023, and we were historically terrible on offense to boom, already top 10 within one season with 3 different quarterbacks in a year span. I just think that's just insane to be able to do that within a year span, no matter who your players are. I just thought that was unbelievable. And then I think there was pretty healthy grades all around our offense outside of tight ends. So I just think that was all in the name of Shane Steichen and what he was able to do. So I got an A for that offensive coaching staff, man.
Yeah, just wait till Shane does a Frank Reich, and then I'm gonna be calling for him to be fired.
Hey, I think he did a couple last year, and I think we were calling him a rookie head coach. I just think, I mean, it happens sometimes. Man. You got 17 plus games to go out there and put out an offense. I think, you know, sometimes just like
He pulled a Frank in week 18. I'll say that.
Like Timothy said here, Richardson will make Shane look like a wizard. I think that's what great players do. They save your coaches, and sometimes coaching will get you out of hell like we were in last year. I think that's a perfectly good mixture to have, and I think we have the quarterback and the coach to be able to save each other when those times come into play. So hopefully we just get a full season at AR. But I got an A, man. I just think this offense is – I was hoping it wasn't going to be shit all year. So I got an A there. I think they did everything they needed to. But yeah, that got us through our grades. I think special teams – I feel like most fans can go back through and look through for themselves on whatever they would like to grade that. We'll see about getting these around, because I know it's been a while since I posted some stuff. We definitely need to.
I think someone's kid is being murdered.
I got a party going on. Might be a little bit of fighting out there.
That don't sound like fighting, bro. That sounds like
there's like 7 parents in there, so if it's going down, somebody's just letting it happen. But yeah, so that looks like the grades. It was a 2-part episode. Next week we got the combine going on. We are officially in draft season. So everybody go check out the draft. You know, come in next week and let us know who you like, what you like. Please stop listening to people. Go watch films yourself. Go get updated and tapped in with some of these players. We got merch.
Stop reading what our Colts media is talking about and pushing this whole Bowers narrative. They're just pushing things to push things. This media is just they read one article and then they go with it because that article got a lot of comments from fans. So just, man, I don't know. Just go watch some film. Watch our film. Go watch college film. Go make up some, go see who else you like, other than Brock Bowers, who's going to be gone by pick 10. So
go look on YouTube and look up like 7 different people and see what they say that's different and see what they say that's the same. Get information for yourself. It's just like anything else in this world. So yeah, look, man.
If y'all don't watch college football very much, don't worry about it. If you guys have been following us for a while, like last year, moving forward as we're going into the draft season and the combine and everything, every week on this show, us individuals, we all will highlight certain prospects that you, a Colts fan, could go check out. So we will give you the good players. I promise you. We're all college football guys. Like we love it. So
and if you're not usually into college,
these guys.
If you're not usually into college football, it's about to get easier for you, because in July, College Football 25 drops. Players are going to be in it. Teams are all in it.
Ain't that 2026?
No. College football releases in July. I was talking. What you're talking about is the Madden contract. The Madden NFL simulation contract is up in like 2026.
No, I thought the NCAA releases 2025.
No, it releases in July.
It's this year.
It's this year in July.
I thought it was 2025.
Nope. So it's about to get a whole lot easier for everybody. So.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I just want to flex because it's been about a year. We called Julius Brents on this show. I highlighted him. I said he'd be a great pick for our fit. He would fit Ballard's prototype. We were right. Moving forward, he's going to be a dog, and we'll get another one as we highlight.
You know, it was hella hilarious when we did our mock draft. Somebody called us out on that and said none of the picks you guys made were actually drafted by the Colts. I thought it was pretty funny because I ended up commenting back on there.
Appreciate somebody paying attention.
Yeah.
No, but the funny thing is I commented back and said, did they end up in the NFL, though? Because just because we didn't draft them don't mean it like they went all undrafted.
Yeah. We didn't pick bones.
So I thought it was funny that somebody called us out on that coming back. But again,
I just appreciate someone paying attention.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, somebody's like, yo.
they watched the show. Somebody else called us out too, but I'm not going to get into those people.
We get called out a lot. I mean, it's a fan podcast. What y'all mean? I'm not a professional. I'm in the United States Army, bro. I got to go to work on Monday.
I appreciate the comments. The comments, the views. You guys
bring it.
So whatever you got to say, keep going. But like I said, we got merch. Check out ZTV online. We got all our pages down here that's been scrolling across the clicker. Hope you guys been paying attention. Scan the QR code that's there on the side. We are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Spotify and Apple Music. Go like, share, and subscribe. Keep us growing. Help us keep building this thing. We got 11 likes in the hearts. We appreciate you guys. I know there wasn't a ton of viewers, but to have 11 contributors actually like and appreciate us, man, we really appreciate y'all. So thanks for kicking it with the crew tonight. We'll see you guys all next week.
All right. And as always, go Colts.
Go Colts.
Stay conservative, run the ball here on third down.
Here's Richardson. He takes it in for his first NFL touchdown. And Pittman takes it inside the 20, the 10, towards the end zone. Touchdown on 2nd and 28. The Colts capitalize. Richardson to Pittman.